Hey there, friend. I'm Corianne, and welcome to another week of our Rooted in Grace devotional series. This week, we're leaning into grace for yourself. So grab your coffee, pause the to do list for just a few minutes, and let's open our hearts to a little truth, a little encouragement, and a whole lot of grace. Scripture for this week comes from 2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Life often reminds us of our weakness, whether it's our struggles, shortcomings, or the burdens we carry. In those moments, it is easy to feel discouraged, overwhelmed, or even inadequate. But in 2 Corinthians 12:9, God offers us a powerful reminder. His grace is more than enough, and His strength shines brightest in our weakest moments. Paul, the author of this verse, understood what it meant to struggle with personal limitations. Despite his own challenges, he learned to rely on God's grace rather than his own strength. This passage encourages us to do the same, to stop striving for our perfection in our own power. Instead, allow God's grace to work through our imperfections. When we surrender our weakness to Him, we make space for His strength to be revealed in our lives. God's grace not only covers our flaws, it's an active, sustaining force that empowers us to persevere, grow, and thrive in our own struggles. When we feel we're not enough, His grace fills in the gaps. And as always, you can drop your answers to these reflective questions in the comments, email me, or put them in your weekly journal. Why is it often harder to give yourself grace rather than give grace to others? Too often we are giving ourselves the least amount of grace because we believe somehow we could do better. We are sinners and we have the same limitations as others. What lies about yourself do you need to replace with the truth of God's grace? How can recognizing God's grace for you help you extend grace to others? Often we forget that we have been forgiven for everything we've done, and so is the others around us. So when we remember the grace that we've been given, we can extend it to others. Don't forget to use these journal prompts to log your answers in your journal or share them with your prayer partner. Discuss the balance between striving for growth and resting in God's grace. Share an area of your life where you've seen God's grace at work. How can we encourage each other to embrace grace instead of perfectionism? Quite often, I remember to tell my daughter, done is better than perfect, because often she worries too much that it is exactly how it should be instead of just being happy that it's done. Your prayer prompt for this week is to ask God to help you receive His grace in your weakness. Thank Him for loving you unconditionally and for being your strength when you fall short. And thank you again for joining us for week 10 in Rooted in Grace, a 16-week journey to a Christ-centered life. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And otherwise, we'll see you soon.